For the next 3 days, I want you to speak to yourself differently. Not as someone who is lost, not as someone waiting for proof, but as one who already holds dominion over every part of life. I want you to look into the mirror, not to judge what you see, but to remind your reflection that you are not a beggar of destiny, you are the author of it. For just 3 days, speak to yourself as one who commands the unseen. Watch how life begins to bow before the authority of your belief. Most people are at war within themselves. They speak defeat into their own souls and then wonder why victory never comes. They tie their worth to approval, their peace to outcomes, and their joy to the behavior of others. But the awakened mind knows something the ordinary cannot grasp the moment you stop reacting to life. Life begins to respond to you. Detachment is not weakness. It is the evidence of inner dominion. It is the soul's quiet declaration, I am enough, even without proof. When you are emotionally attached to outcomes, you give your power away. You beg reality to confirm your worth, and in that begging you announce your lack. But when you detach not from passion, but from desperation, you move from seeking to attracting. The universe recognizes confidence as command. It delivers not to those who cry, but to those who claim. For 3 days, discipline your inner speech. Refuse to speak as a victim of circumstance. Refuse to think thoughts that insult your divine identity. Speak to yourself as one who is already whole, already guided, already chosen. When you do, something miraculous begins to occur. Energy shifts from begging to becoming. And once you become, no external force can deny you what already belongs to you. The world will test your calm. It will try to provoke you, to lure you back into the noise of reaction. But your task is to remain still. A storm cannot move the mountain that knows it was placed by divine hands. Detachment is not the absence of emotion, it is the elevation of perception. It means you see through the illusion of control. You no longer need to chase, because you understand that what is truly yours cannot escape you. When you detach, your spirit becomes magnetic. You begin to attract situations that match your inner peace. The desperate will fade away, the aligned will appear. Opportunities once hidden will recognize you because you now carry the vibration of completion. Life reorganizes itself around the soul that no longer clings. If you wish to know your true power, observe how calmly you can walk away from what disturbs your peace. The stronger your detachment, the clearer your vision becomes. The voice of intuition grows louder. The path ahead becomes illuminated not by effort, but by alignment. The mind that is detached is like still water. It reflects truth without distortion.
Speak to yourself like this: I am whole, I am guided, I am unshaken by appearances.
I trust what I cannot yet see, for it is already forming in my favor. Say it with conviction, even if your world has not yet changed. Say it as law, for your subconscious is always listening, always obeying. You will notice that when you no longer chase, everything begins to chase you. People, peace, prosperity flow toward calm energy. The universe loves certainty. When you stop doubting your worth, reality stops testing it. For the next 3 days, treat your inner world as sacred ground. Do not allow fear to speak there. Do not allow worry to plant its seeds. Guard your thoughts as a king guards his throne. You are not meant to be controlled by emotion. You are meant to direct it. You are not meant to react to life. You are meant to command it. And the command begins within. When your inner conversation changes, your destiny must obey. For 3 days, speak to yourself as one who already possesses the crown. Walk as one who is not waiting for life to happen, but as one who has already seen the outcome and knows it ends in victory. Speak not to seek, but to affirm. Speak not to convince, but to create. Because every word you utter in faith is a decree to the universe's silent order to rearrange the invisible in your favor. And when you master that inner speech, when you detach from needing results and simply know that they are already unfolding, you become untouchable. Nothing external can disturb the peace of one who lives in inner authority. The calm mind governs chaos. The detached heart commands destiny. And the voice that knows its own power reshapes the world without ever raising its tone. For the next 3 days, I want you to speak to yourself with the language of power, not the language of need. I want you to speak as one who already carries divine authority within. You have been trained to speak to yourself as if you are incomplete, as if you must earn peace, earn love, earn success. But understand, this life is not waiting for you to deserve anything, it is waiting for you to decide. Every time you affirm your strength, your courage, your vision, you are writing commands to your subconscious mind. Your words are the architects of your destiny, and for 3 days, I want you to build only palaces of purpose with them. Stand before your reflection each morning, and instead of saying, I hope, say, I know. Instead of saying, I want, say, I am. This is not arrogance, it is spiritual accuracy. You are aligning your speech with truth, not with limitation. You see, the universe does not respond to your desires, it responds to your frequency. And the frequency of your speech determines the direction of your vibration. When you speak like one who doubts, you vibrate like one who lacks. But when you speak like one who knows, your energy becomes a command. Life listens, creation responds. The difference between those who struggle and those who soar is not intelligence or opportunity, it is the tone of their inner dialogue. The one who speaks to himself with certainty emits a signal of completion, and completion attracts fulfillment. You must train yourself to stop asking for proof and begin embodying faith. The words you repeat in your silence are far more powerful than the prayers you shout into the sky. You must understand that emotional detachment is not coldness, it is wisdom. It is the soul's way of saying, I trust the divine process more than I trust my impatience. When you are attached, you beg reality to move faster. You grip outcomes with fear, suffocating them before they have time to bloom. But when you detach, you release life to unfold as it should. You stop fighting the current and begin floating with it. Detachment is the highest form of confidence because it means you no longer need reassurance from the outer world. You know that what belongs to you will come in due season, and until then, you remain unmoved. The person who has mastered detachment has mastered peace, for they no longer dance to the rhythm of circumstance. They are still, and in that stillness they possess everything. For 3 days, speak as one who no longer negotiates with fear. Speak as one who commands order from chaos. If doubt arises, do not entertain it. Replace it with the language of kingship. I am calm because I am certain. I am patient because I am powerful. I am detached because I am guided. You must stop thinking as if your life is happening to you. Your life is happening through you, responding to every word, every emotion, every intention. What you are emotionally attached to controls you, but what you are detached from must align with you, because detachment sends a signal to the universe that says, I already have what I desire, therefore I no longer chase. And that signal calm, quiet, unwavering, is the magnetism of manifestation. You are not here to chase peace, you are here to embody it. You are not here to beg for love, you are here to radiate it. The one who understands this truth walks differently, speaks differently, lives differently. They no longer react to storms because they have discovered the unshakable stillness within. For 3 days, I want you to practice that stillness. When someone offends you, remind yourself, my peace is not negotiable. When you face delay, remind yourself, nothing can be late in divine timing. When you feel uncertain, remind yourself, my steps are ordered, even if I cannot yet see the map. These are not empty affirmations, they are spiritual anchors. The mind will try to pull you back to fear, but you must train it to return to truth. The power of detachment is that it frees you from the illusion of control. You stop fighting to manipulate the world and start trusting your vibration to draw what you need. The moment you detach from the need for something to happen, you create the space for it to happen. Desire fueled by desperation repels desire grounded in peace attracts. This is divine law. When you stop gripping, the energy flows. When you stop begging, the blessing appears. When you stop doubting, life delivers. Because the universe does not respond to words, it responds to the energy behind them. You can say, I am strong 1,000 times, But if you speak it from fear, you command nothing. Say it from knowing, and all creation listens. For 3 days, become the guardian of your inner temple. Let no thought of lack enter. Let no emotion of fear linger. When your mind begins to wander into worry, gently bring it back with authority. Say to yourself, I do not chase, for what is mine knows my name. Say, I do not doubt, for the unseen is already arranging itself for my good. This kind of self-talk is not imagination, it is creation. Every repetition etches a new belief into the soul. Every calm declaration rewrites the story of your subconscious. And soon, without effort, your outer world begins to mirror your inner certainty. You begin to see that people treat you differently, opportunities recognize you, and peace follows you, because you have stopped living as a beggar of blessings and have become a channel of divine order. Detachment gives birth to clarity. When you are not emotionally tangled in outcomes, you see with spiritual eyes. You no longer confuse delay with denial. You recognize that some doors close not to punish you, but to redirect you. You begin to trust timing, trust pauses, trust silence. And in that trust, you find freedom. The detached soul walks through chaos as though it were sacred ground. They do not flinch at rejection because they understand rejection is just redirection wearing a disguise. They do not chase approval because they have already approved of themselves. And that inner approval radiates outward, commanding respect from the world without ever demanding it. So, for 3 days, speak as one who has already won. Speak as one whose spirit cannot be shaken. Let your inner conversation be calm, powerful, deliberate. When fear speaks, answer with truth. When doubt whispers, silence it with faith. When impatience rises, remind yourself that divine timing never fails. For just 3 days, treat your words as decrees and your emotions as instruments of power. If you do, something sacred will awaken within you. You will begin to feel the quiet strength of detachment, the deep peace of certainty, the effortless magnetism of a soul in alignment. And from that place, everything, absolutely everything, will begin to change. For 3 days, speak to yourself like one who commands the unseen, like one who has walked through fire and now knows it cannot burn them. Speak to yourself as one who has seen through illusion and discovered that nothing in this world has power over the mind that refuses to bow. The average person is enslaved by emotion, driven by approval, and imprisoned by fear. They react to everything because they have never learned the divine art of detachment. But you are called to mastery. You are called to rise above reaction, to govern your energy like a ruler governs a kingdom. The moment you stop letting emotion dictate your direction, you begin to access the quiet authority that moves mountains. Detachment does not mean you do not care. It means you no longer collapse every time something shifts. You no longer define your worth by the behavior of others or the outcomes you cannot control. It means your peace is no longer for sale. When you begin to talk to yourself as one who is already whole, already complete, something remarkable happens. You start to sense that everything you have been chasing was already within you. The peace you sought in others was buried in your own silence. The validation you begged for was waiting inside your spirit. For 3 days, make your self-talk sacred. Make it law. When you wake, speak into your day, I am calm, I am guided, I am detached from outcome but aligned with purpose. When the mind begins to wander into worry, speak again, I am unshaken. I am not ruled by emotion. I am the observer, not the storm. This repetition will not simply comfort you, it will reprogram you, because the subconscious mind is obedient to the voice it hears most often, and for most people, that voice is fear. But when you start to speak as the master, fear must obey you. Detach yourself from the noise of the world. Everyone is chasing something: recognition, affection, validation, control. But the one who has learned detachment has learned power. When you stop chasing, you stop bleeding energy. You begin to conserve spiritual strength, and that strength becomes magnetism. You begin to draw people and opportunities without effort, not because you're doing more, but because you're being more. Detachment creates space for alignment. It silences the desperation that blocks manifestation. The soul that is calm and centered becomes irresistible to divine order. Everything begins to move around you as if pulled by invisible threads, because life always aligns with the one who has found stillness within. For 3 days, observe yourself. When you notice anxiety creeping in, remind yourself, I am not this feeling. I am the awareness watching it. When you feel anger or disappointment, do not resist it, but do not identify with it either. Observe it like a passing cloud. Detachment is not denial, it is transcendence. You are no longer drowning in your emotions, you are witnessing them from the shore. And from that elevated state, you can choose how to respond. You can respond from power instead of pain, from wisdom instead of impulse.
The detached person is not cold, they are clear. Their calmness is not apathy, it is awareness.
OT need proof, I am proof. Say it until it becomes your energy. Because once your energy shifts, circumstances cannot help but rearrange themselves. Detachment places you in partnership with divine timing. You begin to understand that every delay has purpose, every rejection has redirection, every closed door hides a sacred invitation. You stop questioning the plan and start trusting the process. You no longer demand that life bend to your will, because you now recognize that your will, when aligned with spirit, bends life naturally. You must remember that what is meant for you cannot pass you, and what is not meant for you cannot stay. Detachment is born from this understanding. When you know that your destiny is protected by a force greater than you, you stop grasping at what was never yours. You stop fighting for attention, chasing validation, or clinging to what has expired. You release with grace. You let go with love. You no longer beg the universe to give you thank it for what's already unfolding. This is true confidence, the quiet knowing that what you desire is already seeking you. And the more detached you become, the faster it finds you. Because need repels, but peace attracts. Desperation clouds vision, but calmness illuminates direction. For 3 days, practice this mastery. When the voice of fear tells you that things are falling apart, respond, things are falling into place. When impatience tells you you're behind, answer, I cannot be late in a plan that was written for me. When insecurity whispers that you are not enough, declare, I am the expression of divine intelligence. Nothing lacking can exist in me. This level of self-talk will not feel natural at first because you have been trained to think small. But the more you speak it, the more your mind will begin to believe it. And once your mind believes it, your energy will reflect it. Then, without struggle, your life will mirror that energy back to you. Understand that detachment is an act of faith. It is saying to the universe, I trust your wisdom more than my timeline. It is surrendering control without surrendering vision. It is standing still when the world tells you to panic. This kind of inner peace is not passive, it is powerful. It sends a signal to life that you are no longer swayed by appearances. You have become steady, anchored, aligned. And because you no longer depend on outcomes for emotional validation, the outcomes themselves begin to multiply. You attract abundance because you are no longer attached to lack. You attract love because you are no longer desperate for it. You attract opportunities because you no longer doubt your worthiness of them. Detachment transforms you from a seeker into a creator. It elevates your vibration from fear to faith. It refines your energy until you become the very thing you once chased. You begin to realize that life does not reward effort alone, it rewards energetic purity. When you speak to yourself like one who already possesses all that they desire, you create harmony between thought and being. And when thought and being align, manifestation becomes effortless. You begin to command life without shouting, to attract without chasing, to receive without begging. For 3 days, live in this awareness. Speak peace, breathe faith, release attachment. Every time your mind reaches for control, return to calm. Every time fear whispers, return to truth. Every time impatience arises, return to trust. Speak as one who knows, I am guided, I am protected, I am enough. Speak as one who understands that the universe bends to belief, not to worry. Speak as one who has stepped out of the storm and into stillness. Because once you master detachment, Life itself becomes your servant. Everything begins to move not by your demand, but by your design. For 3 days, I want you to walk as one who has already become everything they once prayed for. I want you to rise each morning and speak not from need, but from knowing. There is a divine rhythm to your life, and when you align with that rhythm, effort becomes ease. The world has taught you to struggle, to grasp, to chase, but the Spirit knows that creation is never forced, it is allowed. Detachment is that allowing. It is the silent surrender that says, I trust that what is mine knows where to find me. When you reach this understanding, you begin to realize that fear was only an illusion created by impatience. You were never losing, you were only learning to wait with grace. Detachment gives you that grace that anchors you in calm, while the rest of the world trembles in chaos. The most powerful people on earth are not the ones who speak the loudest or move the fastest, are the ones who have mastered their inner world. Their calmness is not weakness, it is a signal of control. They no longer depend on circumstances to dictate how they feel. They have found a deeper center, a place within where peace is untouched by outcomes. This inner stillness is what gives birth to clarity. It allows you to hear the whisper of divine guidance that the noise of emotion often drowns out. When you detach, you stop forcing answers and start receiving revelation. You stop asking why and begin to understand how. The detached soul lives in quiet confidence, knowing that everything is unfolding in divine precision. For 3 days, make your inner dialogue a declaration of mastery. When you wake, affirm with conviction, I am already complete. I do not chase, I attract. I do not rush, I flow. Say it until you believe it, because the truth is what you believe, you become. The subconscious mind cannot distinguish between imagination and reality. It simply obeys the dominant vibration you project. And that vibration is set by the words you speak to yourself. Speak with authority, and life will bend to your authority. Speak with fear, and life will mirror that fear back to you. The one who has mastered self-talk has mastered creation itself. For every word you say to yourself becomes a seed in the soil of the unseen. When you water it with faith and patience, it must grow. Detach from appearances. The visible world is only the shadow of the unseen. Everything that exists began in thought, and everything that will exist begins in belief. The one who is emotionally entangled with appearances lives in illusion. They see a temporary circumstance and declare it permanent. They feel an emotion and mistake it for truth. But when you are detached, you see beyond the illusion of the moment. You recognize that what looks like loss might be preparation, that what feels like delay might be alignment. You stop cursing the process because you have learned to trust its purpose. Detachment opens your spiritual vision. It allows you to see life as it truly is, divinely orchestrated, perfectly timed, always working in your favor. When the mind is detached, it becomes quiet enough to hear intuition. Intuition is not a shout, it is a whisper, and only a calm mind can hear it. For 3 days, silence the noise of worry. Replace it with awareness. Every time anxiety rises, speak to it softly, peace, be still. You do not fight fear, you disarm it with calm. The one who knows they are guided does not panic. The one who knows they are protected does not react. Your power lies in your composure. The more detached you become, the more power you gain not over others, but over yourself. And that self-mastery radiates outward, influencing everything around you. People will feel your peace before you speak a word. Situations will begin to flow more easily because your energy no longer resists what is. Detachment is not about rejecting emotion, it is about mastering it. Feel deeply, but remain centered. Love fully, but without possession. Hope boldly, but without fear. When you attach your happiness to anything outside of yourself, you give away your power. You make your peace conditional on something that can be taken from you. But when you anchor your joy in your spirit, no storm can uproot it. You become unbreakable. Detachment does not harden the heart, it frees it. It allows you to give without losing yourself, to love without losing balance, to dream without drowning in desire. You become a vessel of flow, not a prisoner of control. For 3 days, act as if you already have everything you need. Walk with the posture of someone who is already chosen, already abundant, already loved. This isn't pretending it's aligning. The vibration of I have attracts more to have. The vibration of I lack multiplies lack. The universe responds to certainty, not craving. When you detach from needing an outcome, you send out the frequency of fulfillment, and fulfillment attracts fulfillment. That is how energy works. Speak it into existence by speaking from completion, not from emptiness. Say to yourself, I am not waiting for peace. I am peace. I am not chasing success. Success flows to me. And soon what you once chased will begin to find you without effort. When you are detached. Ed, time no longer controls you. You understand that delay is not denial, it is divine timing in disguise. You no longer measure progress by how fast something happens, but by how deeply you are growing. Detachment teaches patience, and patience reveals strength. The impatient mind says, it's not happening. The detached soul says, it's already happening where I cannot yet see. This faith becomes a force. It moves unseen energies in your favor. It rearranges situations, opens doors, and clears paths. You begin to realize that everything that once felt heavy begins to move lightly, because you are no longer carrying the weight of worry. For 3 days, make your silence your sanctuary. Do not explain yourself. Do not defend your decisions. Let the results speak for you. Detachment gives you a mysterious power and invisible influence that others can feel but cannot define. Your calm becomes contagious. Your presence becomes peace. People are drawn to your energy not because you are doing more, but because you are being more. You have stopped seeking approval and started emanating authenticity. And authenticity, when detached from need, becomes magnetic. You no longer chase validation because you have already validated yourself through alignment with truth. The one who has learned detachment walks with quiet authority. They know that what is meant for them cannot miss them. They trust that even the delays and detours are working toward their ultimate good. They do not beg. They do not plead. They do not panic. They remain steady, consistent, aligned. That steadiness becomes their superpower. For 3 days, be that person. Every time your mind wants to rush, slow down. Every time your heart wants to cling, release. Every time your fear wants to speak, silence it with truth. Speak to yourself as one who commands destiny, not one who begs for it. Speak with conviction, I am the calm in the storm. I am the voice that creates peace. I am detached from fear, but deeply connected to purpose. And as these words become your daily rhythm, you will witness what few ever understand. When you no longer chase, the universe chases you. For 3 days, speak to yourself as though the universe itself is listening to your every word, because it is. Speak with the authority of someone who knows that every thought is an instruction, every word a decree, and every emotion a vibration sent into the field of infinite intelligence. There is a sacred power in the way you address yourself, for it is through that inner conversation that you either build or break your destiny. When you speak words of faith, peace, and conviction, you are aligning your energy with divine law, and life begins to respond in your favor. But when you speak from fear, from desperation, from attachment, you disrupt the harmony between you and the universe. For the next 3 days, discipline that voice within. It is not your enemies, your past, or your circumstances that decide your fatigue is your inner dial. Og. Speak to yourself with reverence, as though you are addressing the divine spark within, because that spark is the most sacred part of you. Emotional detachment is not a wall, it is a window through which divine truth can enter. The one who is detached is not cold, they are clear. They see through illusion, through appearances, through emotion, and into reality as it truly is. The world is filled with those who are constantly reacting, constantly pulled by the tides of emotion, constantly lost in the noise of temporary things. But the detached soul has risen above that chaos. They no longer react, they respond. They no longer beg for control, they are control. Detachment is the art of maintaining your center no matter how violently the world spins around you. It is the decision to anchor yourself in truth rather than be tossed by appearances. The one who masters detachment becomes unshakable, and in that stillness, their true power emerges. When you detach, you no longer chase anything love, money, success, or approval. You understand that what is truly yours will come, not because you demand it, but because you embody it. Everything you desire already exists in vibration. The moment you match that vibration through peace, gratitude, and faith, it must come to you. But attachment is the enemy of alignment. The moment you cling, you announce to the universe that you do not have it. The moment you beg, you proclaim lack. Detachment, on the other hand, is the voice of abundance. It says, I already possess it within me, and what is within must manifest without. When you detach, your energy becomes pure, magnetic, irresistible. Life begins to conspire in your favor because you have stopped resisting its flow. For 3 days, practice the calm confidence of detachment. When your mind starts to worry, pause and breathe. Remind yourself that fear is an illusion trying to convince you to doubt divine timing. When impatience stirs, whisper inwardly, everything is happening exactly as it should. When disappointment appears, remember that it is not rejection, but redirection. The detached mind sees divine order in everything. It does not curse the waiting, it learns from it. It does not resent the struggle, it extracts wisdom from it. Every delay becomes a classroom, every silence a sanctuary, and in that awareness you begin to live from a higher frequency that no longer reacts, but creates. The most sacred act of detachment is surrender. Surrender is not giving up, it is giving over. It is releasing the illusion that you must control every outcome and trusting that the universe is far more intelligent than your fears. When you surrender, you are not being passive, you are being powerful. You are aligning yourself with divine order rather than your limited understanding. This surrender requires courage. Courage to let go of how you think things should unfold and to trust that they will unfold perfectly in their own time. The detached soul does. Not chase certainty, they are certainty. Their peace is not dependent on outcomes because they have already decided that every outcome serves their highest purpose. And because they live in this vibration of trust, they attract only that which matches it. For 3 days, I want you to speak to yourself with unwavering certainty. Say, I am calm even when I do not see the path. I am at peace even when I do not know the answer. I am secure even when the world feels uncertain. Let these affirmations be your shield. The more you speak them, the more your subconscious begins to believe them, and the more your external world begins to reflect them, because the outer world is a mirror of the inner. When your inner dialogue changes, your entire reality must change with it. The power of detachment lies in knowing that you can release your grip on life and still be guided. You do not lose control by letting go, you gain it. You rise above fear and into alignment, where every force of the universe begins to work for you. When you detach from emotional turmoil, you become an observer of your own thoughts. You begin to see which patterns drain you and which empower you. You stop reacting to triggers and start choosing responses that align with peace. You no longer let the opinions of others shape your self-image. You no longer allow temporary setbacks to dictate your long-term vision. Detachment gives you spiritual altitude. It lifts you above the fog of confusion so you can see with divine perspective. You begin to understand that everything, even the challenges, are part of your evolution. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this teaching me? In that question, transformation begins. For 3 days, live as though you already have what you seek. When you want love, be love. When you desire peace, embody peace. When you seek success, speak success. The moment you detach from the need to receive, you begin to radiate, and what you radiate returns multiplied. This is the spiritual law of reciprocity. You always receive in proportion to the energy you emit. The detached soul emits faith, gratitude, and stillness. They live in a vibration that says, I am already whole. And because they live in wholeness, life sends them more things that reflect that wholeness. Detachment does not diminish desire, it refines it. It allows you to want deeply but without desperation, to dream boldly but without tension. The one who is detached walks in divine confidence. They no longer chase recognition, for they know who they are. They no longer compete, for they understand that abundance is infinite. They no longer fear the future, for they trust the present. Detachment frees you from the illusions that bind the world. It returns you to your true self, the self that knows no lack, no fear, no limitation. And when you stand in that truth, your energy becomes unshakable. The storms of life may rage around you, but they cannot move you because your roots are anchored in faith. You no longer seek to control the weather. You have learned to command your own calm. So for 3 days, discipline your thoughts as though you are training the most powerful force in existence, because you are. Guard your speech, guard your peace, guard your energy. Speak life into your existence with divine certainty. Let detachment become your protection, your wisdom, your weapon. Every time fear rises, answer it with trust. Every time anxiety calls, answer with calm. Every time your emotions tempt you to react, remind yourself, I am the master of my energy. For 3 days, live from that truth. Watch as everything that once seemed distant begins to draw near. Watch how people, opportunities, and miracles begin to orbit your peace. Because the one who has mastered detachment does not chase, they attract. They do not plead, they proclaim. They do not fight for alignment, they become it. And when you become alignment itself, everything you were ever meant to have finds you in perfect time. When you begin to master the language you speak to yourself, you no longer live as a servant of emotion, but as a commander of energy. Detachment is not the absence of feeling, it is the presence of power. It is the quiet knowing that everything unfolds in divine timing, that nothing truly meant for you can ever miss you. When you release the grip of fear, the flow of faith begins to carry you. You stop reacting to life and start directing it. The storms no longer shake you because you have discovered the stillness within. The opinions of others no longer move you because you have met the truth of who you are. You no longer chase anything because you have become everything you once sought. Speak to yourself as one who is already complete, already chosen, already favored. Walk as one who has seen beyond the veil of appearances and found peace in the unseen. When you detach from outcomes, you awaken to your own divine authority. You cease to beg for blessings and begin to create them through your calm, your faith, and your silence. The universe bends for the one who knows that all things are already working in their favor. Detachment is not withdrawal from life, it is the highest form of engagement with it. For only the detached can truly see, truly love, and truly live.